So we must do two things, two great things together to encompass that enormous new view that lies before us, but to encompass it within the framework of science, to see it within the whole categorical framework of science, and to see that these two are not separate, but that they are wedded. The bigness of the idea, the newness of the idea, the greatness of it is one with the structure of science, the structure of being itself.
Okay, so we've come to absolute Christian Science. We're looking at principle and its ideas, and we know that absolute Christian Science now shows us the relationship of principle to its creation. It's a creation of individual idea. So we're going to see something about each individual idea as it is related to principle. This is a definite relationship, and from the point of the word, we see then that for each idea, principle is the creative principle. When we come to the Christ, we see that it is a relationship of Emmanuel. This is an interesting term, Emmanuel. I've really been wrestling with that over many years, because we know that Emmanuel means God with us, doesn't it? The Christ with us. The Christ really is God with us. And so here I think it means that principle is one with every idea. It is one with every idea. And I think it also gives to every idea, if I may say that, the quality of Emmanuel. It stamps every idea with the nature of being Emmanuel, so that when an idea comes to us, and it will come specifically, it will be Emmanuel for us, for the situation. God with us. From the standpoint of Christianity, in relation to its individual creation, it unites all. It brings every idea into that unity of principle and idea, that oneness of principle and its idea. So it unites all. In science, then, from the standpoint of science, principle interprets itself. Every idea is an interpretation of principle, an interpretation of its principle. Principle interprets itself as a spiritual computation. Principle demonstrates each idea. So here it isn't that the whole idea is the demonstration of its principle, or that the relationship is one of self-demonstration, but here it is that each idea is a demonstration of its principle. One and the same principle. Principle governs each idea. Whereas in divine science we had that relationship of divine self-government. I always love that statement from prose works. I think it's, that statement that in divine science, God is one and all, and governing himself, he governs the universe. You feel that it's coming out from divine science, that because God governs himself, because that divine self-government is the fact in divine science, that we see that reflected at every further level as the government of every further level. So here where we are concerned with ideas, the relationship of principle to its ideas, we see that principle governs each individual idea. It renders the relationship with each idea as being one of inseparable unity. So we see how there's a transforming from science itself of that indivisible whole that principle itself is, to the indivisibility relationship of principle to its idea as a whole. And now we see that there is an inseparable unity with each idea. And finally, every idea is seen in its principle. Or you might say that each idea is seen in its principle, meaning it's only understood in its principle. It can only be understood, it can only be rightly interpreted when we see it in its principle. That's why I asked you in the note to your classroom materials to realize that because that is a fact, that an idea can only be understood in its principle, that we leave an idea in its principle, that we don't try to disrupt that or bring in some kind of a separation in the unity. And we were talking about that in respect to the materials that you have been given so far and that you will be given for the remainder of the class, and what you share with others, that you, as much as possible, keep that unity. The unity, say, of those materials with the context of the presentation which explains them. You see, that this class as a whole is the context for understanding, for interpreting aright the materials. Yeah. So any idea is only seen and understood in its principle. So that would be the three great levels of science: divine science, absolute Christian science in respect to principle and the ideas of principle. And then we come to the level of Christian science, and we can take this flow in whatever way we feel inspired to do so, either in the way of taking it as A, B, C, D, or as in the order of the second translation, the translation of mortal mind, the retranslation of mortal mind, back into the one mind. So just bear that in mind, and as we go along, it will become clear to us what we're going to do, because we'll be doing it. So let's take the A and see what is happening really as these levels break in and make their impact. And we know that the impact is breaking in on us through those laws of interdependence which bind together inseparably the two levels of absolute Christian science and Christian science. That life, truth, and love is impelling now something upon the human condition, the human consciousness. And that truth, life, and love says that that which is breaking in on us will be absolutely right, absolutely specific for the situation, for the state in which that consciousness may be. And that life and love says that that which is breaking in on us, which is truly of the nature of idea and of the relationship of principle and idea, will be eternalized. It will be eternalized. That which is new, it means coming to us, will be eternalized. It will be preserved by life. It will be conserved by love. why. Science always explains why, gives the explanation, the reason. It says, because that idea already exists at one with its divine principle. That's what truth and love is saying, that the idea has always been in its principle, fully expressed, fully what it is, and that this is what is governing the fact that it comes forth and we see it becoming what it is. So, principle is coming to us now. How does it come at the point of the word? It seems to be that fourth idea in the order of the third degree. It comes as spiritual power. Is that not right? Let's see, we had wisdom, purity, spiritual understanding, spiritual power. What is spiritual power? This should be the automatic response in you to know that spiritual power is the power of demonstration. The power of demonstration is breaking in on us. The power to show forth our principle, to demonstrate that same principle that is demonstrating itself, that there's no discrepancy between our demonstration of the principle so-called and principle's own demonstration. It is principle's own demonstration that we are able to demonstrate principle, so-called. And so we see that principle in terms of the Christ is coming as the divine authority to us. It breaks in as a divine authority. What does authority mean? It's the power, it's a power sense, the power or the right to give a command, to take action, to enforce obedience. So we feel that we're under a divine authority. This is a gift. These are the gifts of principle, right? At this point in A, we get those gifts that are breaking in, that are unearned, unwarranted. We never deserved them. Humanly, we can't deserve that we would feel the authority of principle, and yet we do, we can, we have, we will feel that authority of principle, and perhaps we feel it as we touch this system and science together this week, and we feel the authority. In the Webster's Dictionary, an authority is an expert, you see, and it will be principle. It will be the breaking in of principle on us as it comes with its science and system and its many, many classifications within those three great categories of being, that as that breaks in on us, we become an expert. We are an expert. The scientist is an expert. It comes as imperative. Can you hear that this is a Christ touch? That imperative of principle, and to be imperative means to be absolutely necessary. That we are under that imperative of principle and its idea, that we are shown what is absolutely necessary. We are shown that which is the command of principle, that which we can't go back on, and it comes as Emmanuel. So we have Emmanuel in two different places, you see. We saw it in respect to each idea being Emmanuel, being one with its principle, and each idea having the ability to come to us, the Christ sense, and be Emmanuel. And here now we feel that Emmanuel breaking in on us, that God, principle, is with us. With us. And from the standpoint of Christianity, what is going on? Principle is working out all good. It works out good. So I think the accent is not on the good, but the working out. The working out of good. So principle will come to us also from the standpoint of science in the calculus and begin to explain itself as what it is, to teach itself to us. It comes then as that demonstrating power. It comes as apodictical. You know what apodictical means? Yes?
You must obey me.
Yes.
It's principle saying, I'm the only and you must obey me.
Yes, yes, it is. And it also means to demonstrate itself conclusively. You see that? It's apodictical. It doesn't take no for an answer. It demands obedience. And also it means that it demonstrates itself conclusively. It's irrefutable. What does irrefutability mean? Pardon?
No opposition.
Well, it's incapable of being disproved. That's one definition. It cannot be disproved, you see. It cannot be proven wrong. To refute is to prove an argument or statement to be false or wrong. Now, what do we mean by an argument? Does that mean people arguing with each other and one proves the other one wrong? No, it's a logical argument referring to that divine deduction that we're talking about, that divine deduction that is built into being and that is so accentuated by the synonymous term principle and taught to us by principle. This divine argument can never be proven wrong. It's irrefutable. So that irrefutability is coming to us. We feel it. We feel that we're in the presence of it. That when we take the standpoint of science, we know that we can never be proven wrong, that there's no other demonstrating power that can take away the power of that principle and our own spiritual power. And I have added here, it comes to us as theocracy, government under God principle. And we feel that that's what governs us, theocracy. That science governs us, the system governs us. And it is to this that we owe allegiance. It is to this that we owe loyalty, as we will see further on. So then we see that principle, in the face of its suppositional opposite, then we can perhaps look at D, if we want to say, well, what is the suppositional opposite of principle? What is that? That which principle is saying, I am not, and I will not tolerate. You see, I will not tolerate because I am apodictical. What won't principle tolerate? From the word standpoint, we see that it will not tolerate personal sense. A personal standpoint, that divine person, that infinite one, that absolute, does not tolerate personal sense. Material knowledge. From the standpoint of the Christ, it does not tolerate arbitrariness. This is a wonderful term, this arbitrariness, and I've put it under the Christ. Arbitrariness is a discretionary sense, a sense of being governed by one's own judgment, one's own choice. To be arbitrary is to be unreasoned, unpredictable, using one's power and authority in an unpredictable way, in just arbitrary. Oh, I like you and you and you, but you and you and you I don't like. So I use my authority, my power, according to my personal sense, you see, and mete out the results. So that sense of being arbitrary, one feels, comes under the Christ, because in the columns above, in A actually, you see we had the divine authority. We had the imperative of principle upon us to do what principle knows is principled. And you can see that the outcome in D of coming out from personal sense and a material sense of knowledge and executing that through arbitrariness, through personal sense and being unpredictable, and it's not consistent. There's no consistency in it, but that's not the right term. I'll probably come to it later in my mind. But the result is fragmentation, you see. Fragmentation. There's another term that I had thought about for that Christianity column, and we don't have it on the list. Friction. Friction. It causes friction. Yeah. And, you know, when you don't have a system that's working together, everything isn't working together on the basis of one principle, but you have a lot of personal standpoints and opinions, you see, opinions going on, that you have the result of fragmentation and friction. And from the standpoint of science, then, the science would see that the counterfeit of principle would be material organization. Ooh, does anybody know anything about that? Huh? Sounds familiar. Material organization. And then you have all those other further counterfeits of principle, which would be theories, false theories, human theories, in other words. And coming into that whole question of false and human theories then is superstition, speculation. Somewhere, doesn't she say not to speculate with God? Is that right in the textbook? Doesn't she say not to speculate with God, or did I get that somewhere else? But you see, don't speculate with God. You come out from science, come out from the one principle and deduce everything from that one principle, and you'll get the whole system that will enable you to understand on the basis of science, capital S, versus all your theories, which are based on superstition and speculation, false hypotheses, you see. And then you see that coming out of superstition and speculation and false hypotheses are doctrines, human dogma. And finally we see that the complete antithesis of principle is anthropomorphism, the belief that God is man-like, personal, like a person, that God is a person with a long beard, white, hoary with age, sitting in the heavens, sending down edicts, dictating how things should be, what should be done, and that we have to pray to that God, always looking upward, because he's sitting in the clouds. That's really the raw data form of anthropomorphism, but there are many, many subtleties to that claim. Many subtleties. Whenever we deviate from the understanding of God as a principle and a science, we've fallen into one of those subtleties. Yeah. You have it really in the second record of creation, don't you? That anthropomorphism. God is walking through the garden, doing in the certain time of the day. He's, what is it, at the noon time or whatever? Cool of the day. Okay. Yeah, because that's when we like it best, the cool of the day.